Ladies and gentlemen, we are live right now. Today is a very tragic day. About 5 hours ago, right now, it is 10:44 p.m. Central Standard Time Zone, November 4th. About 5 hours ago, a UPS plane crashed into a warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky. Very, very, very tragic. Prayers go out to the families. Prayers go out to the deceased. There is about 7+ deceased people so far. I have clips that I want to show you. I started this live stream because my audience, sometimes these things don't come across everyone's feed. And it is breaking news, and everyone should be able to see and know what has happened. So I have clips for everyone to see. Viewer discretion is advised. I haven't seen most of these. I've seen maybe one or two. We're going to check these out. There's also a press conference that I want to listen to because that is the update from the mayor in Louisville, Kentucky. There's going to be a deep investigation of what happened today, though. So right now, viewer discretion is advised. There are plenty of angles of this plane crash, and I want to see them. If you don't wish to see them, that's okay. It is a very tragic and it's a rough thing to look at, okay? But this is the first clip that I've seen on the day, and let's look at it. You can see the plane. The engine is on fire. The guy says the plane's gonna crash, and then there the plane crash is right there. It's very tough to watch. It is very tragic for everyone that was on the plane. I believe there were 3 passengers, the pilot, co-pilot, and possibly one other person, if I remember correctly. The plane crashed into a warehouse. There are people that are potentially still stuck. I did read earlier that there are firemen and NTSB going to be out there at the warehouse. NTSB is like investigative. Whenever these crashes happen, they go out and do the investigations. But there are potential victims out right now that could be needing saving in this warehouse, like they're stuck. But here's another clip. This one is really incredible to see. Check this out. That is incredible, y'all. Wow. You can see that person right there. I believe this was someone who was on a call, because this is an ambulance right here where my mouse is. This is an ambulance vehicle, and this person, at the beginning of the video, you can see when the plane crashes, they jump out, they run around the vehicle, look up like what's going on, and then they see flames everywhere, right? Like we can see, and they just don't know where to run. They run, they jump the fence. Very incredible footage, really. Let's look at it one more time. Look at this is a UPS plane, y'all. Look at that. This guy jumps the fence. They run off. I would have done the same thing. Really incredible footage. I have a few more clips. Like I did say, this is hard to look at, y'all. At the beginning of the stream, if you're just tuned in, I did say this is viewer discretion is advised, okay? Because for some people, this is hard to look at, okay? So if you have like a soft stomach, you know, it's okay not to look at it. But I've started this stream to share with some of the viewers that I have. Sometimes these things, they don't get across to everyone's feed. But everyone should know, and everyone should send prayers to the families of the people who died today in this plane crash, or who were in the warehouse and died because of this plane crash. You got to send those prayers, just like how we did for the Jamaica Hurricane Melissa. You know, just pray for these families. Pray for the people that can still potentially be saved too. This is what I'm hearing. Some people could still be saved that are stuck in this warehouse, y'all. Look at this footage right here. Looks incredible. I haven't seen it yet, but let's take a look at this one. Look at that, y'all. My goodness. Yeah. This is tough to look at. So the UPS plane, I can play that clip one more time where it's taking off the strip at the airport, right? It's starting to take off, but as it's taking off, you can see the engine is on fire as it's taking off, and it just can't get into the air. It lags, and then it just kind of, the tail lags until it hits the warehouse, and then it blows up. This is sort of like the aftermath right here. I did hear that a lot of the fire is put out. Probably about 80 to 90% of the fire is already put out. This is an aerial shot right here. And this is the clip that we saw in the beginning of the stream. Look at the plane. The engine is on fire right here.
Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Incredible footage.
Holy shit. Cam, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
He would know. He would know the most because he works there at the airport. I am just confused as to how or why this engine caught on fire. I guess at some point we will find out, right? NTSB, which is, you know, the like aviation agency that does investigations on these crashes. They're going to investigate. They're going to find out. But we do have an update from the mayor. This update is about an hour and a half
all right, everybody,
ago.
thanks for bearing with us tonight. This will be the last briefing for this evening. I do want to say that the airport is closed. It will remain closed tonight. We do anticipate it open and ready for operations first thing tomorrow morning. If you're flying, I would ask you check with your airlines. I would expect delays and cancellations tomorrow. We have been in contact with the NTSB. They will be arriving first thing tomorrow morning, and we anticipate an NTSB briefing sometime tomorrow morning before noon. Mayor?
Here's the mayor.
Thanks, Stan. Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to send my prayers to the families of the victims of this tragic crash. Send my prayers to our entire UPS family across Louisville and across the country. UPS is such an important part of our Louisville family, and we know it's a tough evening as it will be in the days ahead. And prayers to all of Louisville. Another tragedy that we're dealing with together, but we will come together stronger. We will support those who have lost loved ones and friends, and we will move forward as we have in the past. As of right now, we know there are 4 confirmed fatalities, and we believe there are additional fatalities as well, and we're working to notify next of kin before we provide other confirmations on that, as well as additional injuries, many or all of whom have been taken to U of L Health, and they've provided some information on the people that they have treated this evening. But we still have first responders who are actively searching the scene right now, so we will continue to provide more information on victims as it becomes available. There are more than 100 firefighters on the scene from across the region. that are still here, that are working to make it safe for everyone in our community, as well as that are searching for additional victims. There are still some.
So the last number that I seen was 7+. 7+ confirmed dead at the very least.
Hot spots where the crash took place and road closures as well. As has already been announced, JCPS will be closed tomorrow, and this is all schools across the entire district for tomorrow. They'll be making a decision about the following day, tomorrow, once they have more information. And one thing I want to say to all folks across the entire city, if there are people who you have not heard from this evening, if you believe family or friends or loved ones may be a victim, please do not go to area hospitals. We have a family assistance center that has been set up at the Louisville Metro Police Training Academy. That address is 2911 Taylor Boulevard. So if you still are waiting to hear from a loved one this evening, again, please go to 2911 Taylor Boulevard. I've also spoken with a board member from the NTSB who will be arriving tomorrow before 10 a.m. There'll be 28 folks from NTSB coming. They're sending a large crew to do the investigation and deal with this disaster. Also, they've told me that under the Family Disaster Assistance Act will be triggered, which provides coordinated support between NTSB and the airline, which is UPS, for victims and their families. So the families should know that there will be support for them. UPS asked me to convey the same message this evening. They are going to be doing everything they can to support those that have been impacted by this horrible tragedy right now, and their thoughts, their prayers, their love is going out to all of the families of victims this evening. As the governor said earlier, there was no hazardous cargo on board. Emergency management is continuing to monitor the air quality, and this is another great opportunity to remind the entire community to please sign up for Lens Alert. That is a great way to get real-time information from our emergency management teams when unfortunate situations like this occur that may impact your safety. The current instructions are for everyone within a 1-mile radius of the site to shelter in place. We'll continue to update that as we have more information on air quality. And again, the National Transportation and Safety Board will be in charge of the investigation and will be the primary source of information about the investigation, why this may have happened and what happened. We expect that once they are on the ground tomorrow morning, we'll have another briefing with NTSB as well.
Yeah, the investigation, the only thing we know is that the engine was on fire. The tail had a lag. It couldn't get up off of the ground, the plane. And so the tail ended up hitting warehouses, whatever was in the way, and just ultimately crashed, right? Until the NTSB gets out there, does their investigation, we're not going to know anything else. But we are getting updates as to the timeline of how things are going to play out.
Well, and as
from the mayor,
said, the airport is closed for this evening. It will be open tomorrow morning. I want to give a giant thanks before we bring up Chief Brian O'Neill from Louisville Fire Department. I also want to send a giant thanks once again to all of the first responders, to all of the firefighters and other first responders from around the Louisville area and around the entire region and state. Thank Mayor Gordon for sending in some equipment and individuals from Lexington to support as well. This is just, in times like this, it's just one of those opportunities to once again thank our first responders who are performing heroic work every day. But when you see it in such a tragic, large form, it's important to give public thanks as well. I also want to notify residents that might live nearby. If there's any debris in your yard, we hope to have it. We're going to have a form on our website at louisvilleky.gov. We hope to have that live in the coming minutes or an hour this evening. We ask that nobody touch any debris.
Plain debris in your yard
on your property, but you register that online just as we do after other large incidents so that we can track that and come out. This is an incredibly difficult day for so many people, for our entire city. And once again, we'll be praying and sending our love and doing everything we can to support the families, the friends, everyone who has been impacted this. We'll be lighting the Big 4 bridge yellow in honor of the victims of the crash, and we ask that everyone
That's nice.
continue to keep them in your mind and your prayers this evening. Let me now introduce Chief Brian O'Neill from the Louisville Fire Department to provide some additional updates. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I want to make sure that I give a shout out. This was Okolona Fire Department. This was in their district. They were first on scene. They took command of this incident. They are still out there in command and handling everything. That's why I am here. Louisville Fire, as well as the rest of the county fire departments, are supporting and assisting with this incredible large-scale mass casualty incident. So I'm sure most people have seen the very dramatic photos and videos.
Right.
Fire now.
We saw at the beginning of the stream, if you're just tuned in, we did go over and see the clips. There's so many angles of this plane crash. It's incredible, y'all. It really is. But if you have a soft stomach, viewer discretion is advised. You know, it is hard to look at. It's hard to look at. It's a UPS commercial plane crashing into a warehouse. It's very hard to look at. This happened in Louisville, Kentucky. These are the updates from... We're watching right now. We are watching updates from the local government in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, this is Mayor Craig Greenberg, and this is the chief of the fire department right here.
Is almost entirely contained. As I said earlier, when you have such a large-scale incident and fire that's spread over such a massive area, we have to use hundreds of personnel to surround it, contain it, and then slowly bring it in. That has happened. It is now safe enough that we are allowed to, we're able to take some of our firefighters, finish up with the spot fires, but create a formal grid to continue to search. So all of the affected area, we are now doing a formal search. This is, again, these are trained firefighters from all around the region that are handling this to search grid by grid very carefully to make sure if we can find any other victims. But also, as the mayor said, and I want to repeat this, if you see any type of debris, don't touch it. Make sure you register it because we need to make sure that when the NTSB comes in, they can recreate it. Metro Arson is on the scene right now to help secure the area, to keep that scene as safe as possible. The other thing I want to reiterate is that although we have so many resources dedicated to this large-scale incident, we have brought in off-duty personnel to staff our fire stations to make sure that the rest of the city is still safe. So if there are any other emergencies that occur throughout the city, you are still protected, you are still safe, your firefighters are still on guard for you. Again, we watch this terrible video, we watch these horrible incidents. Just remember, please, those are real people that impacted. Let's take a moment to think about them and their families and their loved ones. And again, I have to give just a tremendous shout out to all the firefighters that are on the ground. I was on scene with them earlier today. They do amazing work. They have tremendous bravery. It's just, it's incredible to be a part of them. And they're going to need your support. This incident's going to be going on for a while. But thank you.
This is going to take a while, y'all.
Thank you, Chief.
For the investigation to play out.
Provide you with all the information that they have. We're happy to try to answer a few questions this evening, and then we'll continue to provide any more information this evening or definitely first thing tomorrow morning.
So, Mr. Mayor, the governor is saying that now there are 7 confirmed dead. Have you heard that? And do you know how many people are on board the plane?
The journalist asks, so there is now 7 confirmed dead? Let's see what he says.
And how many of the casualties or injuries are from the ground?
There were 3 crew members on the plane. The 4 that we have confirmed dead are not on the plane. Again, we believe it will be
So
7.
3 dead on the plane. The 3 UPS workers on the plane, they're dead. And then an extra 4 so far that were working in the warehouse that the plane crashed into.
That we're aware of at this time. And as you heard from Chief O'Neill, there'll be others that are searching there. So that
Keep them in your prayers.
consistent with what we believe. We're waiting to get final word that next of kin have been notified, but we wanted to get information out as soon as we possibly could.
Is there a certain number of missing that you have?
We don't have that information at that time. Again, if there are people that are missing, please go to 2911 Taylor Boulevard. Our understanding, though, is from the businesses whose property was impacted that they have accounted for the individuals that they're aware of in terms of their employees or people that were on their property, either accounted for them alive or as some of those 4 victims. We're not aware of any that are missing right now. That does not mean there aren't any, but right now we're not aware of any other additional individuals who are missing.
Is there any update on the nearby tank farms? Maybe a question for Chief O'Neill. We know that houses some recycled oil, and we don't know if that is still a concern currently or not.
It is contained and controlled. Yeah, so there are some storage tanks there that have propane and oil. Some of those have ruptured. You might have heard there were some secondary explosions that were happening in that area. Some of that were small tanks. Some of those were actually what the relief valves. So it can sound very scary, but that's a good thing. That means the relief valve worked and it didn't actually explode. It just is releasing that pressure. So yeah, all of that right now is contained. Now that's still going to be a mess in that area because of the fuel leaks and the oil, but that's we've got it all contained, but we'll be there for a while handling that scene.
So apparently where the plane crashed, there were propane tanks, gas tanks, things like this. In the videos, you can see how there were secondary explosions, right? And that's what that was. It was gas tanks, propane tanks, like the chief just said. Apparently, It's contained now. I believe this footage, this press conference, is from about an hour and a half ago. I did see an update on CNN.com. There is a live thread that you can go and look yourself. I have it up actually, but it did say that about 80 to 90% of all of the fire is contained now. It's contained, and they're going to be searching for victims who are, they're just going to be searching for victims grid by grid.
How much worse, based on preliminary evidence, do you expect this? How much worse could this be?
That's something we don't know. As the mayor spoke, we've got this area that you've got a couple of businesses. We can't be 100% sure how many people were there. There are some other homes in the area, so we went to all the places that we could check once we were on scene. But then you have such a large-scale area that was impacted by that initial crash, and you've got a fire that's covering almost an entire city block. So we're going to very, very carefully make sure we go back and check. Obviously, we hope that there were no other victims, but we're prepared to find those, and we hope that we don't find any.
Mayor, you mentioned the JCPS closing. Have you heard from private schools and colleges in the area?
My understanding, I've not heard from all of them, but my understanding is that everyone else is open at this point in time. I don't have information other than JCPS being closed right now.
Do you have any information on how this might affect UPS headquarters across the world? I mean, obviously this is the world port for UPS, so any information on that?
I defer to UPS on that. I've spoken to several senior UPS officials, executives this evening. Our conversations were all about their support for the victims and their family, their commitment to work on the investigation to get to the bottom of this. And so I don't have that answer yet. I would direct that to UPS.
Mayor, this is going to impact a lot of people. What can the people of Louisville do to help those impacted by this disaster?
This certainly will impact a lot. Obviously, the victims that we have, their families, UPS, and having a tragedy like this in your backyard impacts all of us greatly. I know the feeling that I first got when I saw the plume of smoke, then when I heard what had happened and how my heart dropped. I know that everyone in Louisville had that same exact feeling.
Everyone
Tonight,
that seen
ask for prayers and support for those
what
who have been
happened,
directly impacted
everyone that
by it and
knows
their families. There may be other things that they can be helpful on in the coming days, and we'll make folks aware of that. But we've just seen over the past week the outpouring of support in our community when we ask to help others who are having challenging times. You've seen that over the past week as people came together to donate to area food banks, to donate food to individuals that are going hungry, that are losing their SNAP benefits. I'm confident that once again in this tragedy, Louisville will come together, Louisville will show up and be there to support our fellow residents who are struggling at this time.
Is there any message you have for people across Metro Louisville or Kentucky in terms of helping, anything they can do to help or support?
Well, one other thing I'd like to add is if you need help, again, we've talked several ways about if there's debris in your yard to fill out a form, if there's somebody still missing, go to 2911 Taylor Boulevard. Let me also reiterate this phone number for family assistance, 1-800-631-0604, so that any families that are impacted can get the full support that they need and that they deserve. The final thing I'll say is, just as I was mentioning to Paul's question a minute ago, is this impacts everyone differently. And if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, please ask for help. These are challenging times enough that we're already living in. When there are tragedies like this
is the update from Mayor Craig Greenberg in Louisville, Kentucky. This live stream was about the UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky that happened today on November 4th at around, I think it was like 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time Zone, which is maybe 6 hours ago now. Send prayers to all of the deceased. Send prayers to their families. This one is tragic. This one is tragic. I think there are one or two more clips we should see, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? Because this crash is incredible. There are a few clips that we should see, like this one right here, okay? Viewer discretion is advised, y'all. This is what happened earlier today, and this is what this live stream is about. This plane crash right here. There are so many angles. Some of you probably have never even seen this, so this is why I'm live to show you guys today. This is what happened. Wow. Just wow. I don't think that this photo is any... Oh, something might have fell, actually, from the plane and landed here. That's what this is. I thought this picture was completely irrelevant, but no. Something from the plane might have fell off tumbled onto this warehouse. We've seen these. Yeah, but that's it for now, guys. I want to say once again, prayers to all the deceased and their families. This is very tragic. I wish things like this never ever happen, but you know they do. It's a sad thing to happen. I am going to wrap this stream up though. I just wanted to give my take. I wanted to give put out my thoughts, my prayers on the internet, and let everyone know that, you know, when you see coverage of things like this from me, this is what you can expect. As of right now, I'm gonna wrap this one up, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. We're gonna go live on a different stream, and stay safe. Adios.